Otto Skorzeny was an Austrian-born German SS officer who became one of the most well-known figures of Nazi Germany's special operations during World War II, largely due to the spectacular nature of some of his missions and the way they were amplified by propaganda, especially the operation that led to the liberation of Benito Mussolini in 1943. Born in Vienna in 1908, Skorzeny studied engineering and developed a reputation for physical toughness and self-confidence, marked by the characteristic facial scar he carried from student duels. After the Anschluss of Austria in 1938, he joined the Nazi Party and the SS, and although he did not begin the war as a trained commando, he quickly distinguished himself through boldness, improvisational skill, and a strong sense for psychological impact. His rise to international fame is inseparably linked to Operation Ike, the daring rescue of Mussolini, who had been overthrown by the fascist Grand Council and arrested by order of King Victor Emmanuel III in July 1943, following the Allied invasion of Sicily and Italy's deteriorating military situation. The Italian government moved Mussolini between several secret locations to prevent a German rescue, eventually imprisoning him at the Hotel Campo Imperatore on the Gran Sasso Massif in the Apennine Mountains, a site chosen specifically because it was accessible only by cable car and surrounded by rugged terrain, making a conventional assault nearly impossible. Adolf Hitler, determined to restore Mussolini as head of a puppet Italian state loyal to Germany, ordered a rescue at all costs, and Skorzeny was selected to participate due to his perceived determination and willingness to take risks, although the operation was officially commanded by Luftwaffe General Kurt Student and tactically led by Major Harold Morse. On 12 September 1943, German forces executed a combined operation in which paratroopers seized the valley station and cut communications, while gliders carrying SS commandos and Fallschirmjäger landed directly near the mountaintop hotel in an extremely hazardous maneuver. Skorzeny was personally present in one of the gliders and insisted on accompanying the assault team, despite not being the formal commander on the ground. The landing itself was highly dangerous, as the gliders touched down on uneven terrain at high altitude, but remarkably no one was killed in the initial impact. The Italian guards, surprised and demoralized, offered little resistance, especially after being ordered not to fire to avoid killing Mussolini. Within minutes, the Germans had secured the hotel and freed Mussolini without bloodshed, an outcome that contributed enormously to the mythic status of the operation. Skorzeny ensured that he was prominently photographed alongside Mussolini immediately after the rescue, and he famously insisted on accompanying him aboard a small and overloaded Fiesler Stork aircraft that took off from the mountain in a risky descent, a decision that further enhanced his image as fearless and decisive. Nazi propaganda rapidly elevated Skorzeny as the central hero of the mission, downplaying the roles of other participants and presenting the rescue as a personal triumph, which led to his rapid promotion and the awarding of the Knight's Cross. Following this success, Skorzeny was entrusted with increasingly ambitious special operations, including sabotage missions and deception plans, most notably Operation Greif during the Battle of the Bulge, where German soldiers disguised in American uniforms attempted to sow confusion behind Allied lines. Although the military impact of these later operations was limited, their psychological effect was significant. After the war, Skorzeny was captured by U.S. forces and put on trial for alleged war crimes related to the use of enemy uniforms, but he was acquitted, in part because similar tactics had been used by the Allies. He later escaped from detention and settled in Francoist Spain, where he became involved in business ventures, military advising, and international networks of former Nazis. In his memoirs and public statements, Skorzeny consistently portrayed himself as a soldier focused on daring operations rather than ideology, a self-image that remains controversial as historians emphasize that his actions were inseparable from the objectives of a criminal regime. He died in 1975, leaving behind a complex legacy in which the rescue of Mussolini stands as both a genuine feat of operational audacity and a powerful example of how propaganda can transform a tactical success into an enduring historical myth.